have to say, I wish I had an authentic English man or English woman that could, you know, come in and taste test my scones and let me know if they're good or not, because I think they're bad. Aspen you shall receive. Julianne, I heard scones being mentioned. Yes, scones were mentioned. Look at that, right on their seats. Right on their seats. Yeah, they're fabulous, right? They're not bad at all. This is the tail one. Come on. Please, Miss Anderson.
Okay.
Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful?
Well, I mean,
isn't that wonderful to feel all that love?
I
you can sit
smell
down
the
now. She
scones,
is.
and I thought I might as well come and offer some help. Since,
Yes.
They come, I think, first of all, from my country, right?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So, Julie Andrews is here to talk about her beautiful memoir. They still can't get over it. Now, you know, I got to tell you, this is a shocker of a read. If you think you know Mary Poppins, kids, I mean, it's a jaw-dropper.
Is it?
Well, I thought so. I mean, things that really were very surprising to me. There was a darker side to your story than I imagined. I think we all imagine you, at least I did, as, you know, some sort of you know, living like royalty, you know, growing up quite privileged and always proper.
Far from it, Rachel, far from it. A lot of people, I think, know a fair amount about me after Mary Poppins, but they don't know how it all began and how I came to do what I do and how I learned how to sing and how I got to Broadway for the first time and things like that.
The part that you open up about, you know, about your childhood and growing up, I thought it made you so much more accessible to all of us to see the similarities that you know, that you've been through as many struggles as anybody else.
I think so, and feel twice as blessed because look what happened and how lucky I got,
and,
you know.
And I got to ask you, why did it take so long for you to write a memoir?
A couple of reasons. My day job kept getting in the way, that was one thing. And secondly, I didn't want to offend anybody, I didn't want to hurt anybody, and all my family has passed away, except for my brothers and sisters, of course.
Right.
And we all talked about it, and I finally decided that with the help of my lovely daughter Emma, whom you've met,
I adore you.
who helped enormously and who was so interested in the war years and all the things that I write about that she knew nothing about, certainly in terms of me.
And how wonderful that you guys have that experience and she learned so much more.
What a thrill
all these
for
other
me.
layers.
Yeah, that she cared to know,
Yeah.
and that she wanted to learn about it too.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a very short break so she can taste some scones.
And have
then
a cup of tea.
And have a cup of tea.
Okay.
And we'll be back.
Thank you. I really can.
Oh, please send my love to your beautiful daughter.
I will.
Hey, chum, it's me. I wish we could have come down in the elevator together, but I know you're going to have fun, and make sure you get the ham and cheese. Love you.
Oh. That was your chum, Carol Burnett.
It was my friend.
And she was another mystery taster that made my hand shake.
Yeah, isn't she the best?
She is so wonderful, so down to earth, phenomenal. And our crack kitchen crew remade you what I made her for lunch that day so we can wrap it up in a piece of foil and take it to go because she told you you had to.
I'm going to, believe
So,
me.
Carol, I kept your word. Yeah, she's the one that promised it, but we kept your promise for you, Carol. We've got the ham and cheese for her.
And I'm very grateful. Thank you.
So we've been talking about home, and it's just such a wonderful book. I want you to tell two of my favorite funny stories. Tell them about the My Fair Lady tickets.
Oh.
This is I love this one.
My Fair Lady was a huge success.
Gigantic,
Yeah,
enormous,
and
with Rex Harrison, one of my all-time, I just love Rex.
And not long after we opened, we heard this wonderful story that a couple received a pair of tickets in the mail, and they were like gold dust. They were so hard to find and to get because the box office was swamped and there wasn't a ticket to be had for months and months. And this couple received a pair of tickets in the mail, and they thought, no letter, nothing.
Like the Willy Wonka golden ticket kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
and they thought, well, it had to have been sent by friends who were playing a wonderful joke on them. They rang up, the tickets were valid. They decided, we don't know who sent them, but we may find out. And so they went, and they had a wonderful evening. And when they got home, Their house had been completely burgled, and there was a little note saying, "Hope you enjoyed the show."
I know.
Pretty creative, though, when you think
And
about it.
that's just one, kids. That's just one little nugget from this book. The other one I love is there was kind of a near miss situation with Richard Burton, the ladies' man.
Said she, hint, hint, hint. Richard was unbelievably attractive, as I'm sure everybody who's ever seen him on film.
Oh, yes.
He just oozed charisma, and I am so glad that he didn't make any kind of a pass at me for many, many months.
Because she was married at the time.
I was happily married, and I hope I would have been a good girl, but I couldn't be sure he was that attractive.
Don't you love knowing that about her?
So anyway, there came a day when Richard did, in his way, make a sort of pass, I think. I'm pretty sure. And I got angry that he did in a way, and it went on. He did something in the show that was not a good idea, and I think I was meant to fall on my knees and say, "What have I done?" At which point he would have embraced me. We'd have made up somehow. I don't know, but that's the way it went. So I was so angry at him for playing this trick on me in the show and behaving a little bit badly, that when he finally came into my dressing room, after not having spoken to me for a week, he finally came in and was terribly lovey-dovey and, you know, "Oh, how are you doing?" and everything. And I have to admit that Mary Poppins let fly with an Anglo-Saxon four-letter word. And I told him where to go and how to get there. And so that resulted in another 2 bad performances. And then finally, he threw up his hands one evening and said, "Okay, I'm sorry. Do we love each other?" And I said, "Yes, we do."
Can you tell them how you started writing the children's books, of which there are 17, by the way?
Yes, there are 17 written by...
It started with a bit of a bet.
It did. Many, at least 35, 37 years ago, I was touring, making a movie, and we took the whole family. And to keep the kids occupied, who were being appalling. They didn't pick up their laundry. They didn't brush their teeth. They didn't help make the bed. It was a summer holiday, and they couldn't care less. But we were filming, and life was, you know, busy. And so I said, "Okay, kids, let's play a game. Let's say whoever doesn't brush teeth, pick up laundry, and help a little bit has to pay a forfeit." And so our eldest daughter said, "Okay, but you have to play the game too, Julie." And I said, "Well, what do I have to do, you know?" And she said, "Well, you have to stop cussing so much." And I said, "What, moi?" And so I hadn't realized that I mean, I don't cuss terribly, but I must have been a little explosive because there was just so much chaos going on. So I said, "Okay, I'll play the game too." I was the first to lose. And so I said, "Okay, what's my forfeit going to be?" And that smart oldest daughter of mine said, "Write me a story." And the first children's book came out of that.
Isn't that great? Wonderful. It's just such a wonderful story. I find that so touching. And what does the family think of the book? Everybody loves it.
I think they're pleased. I know that they were curious, and they didn't know some of my stories, and I hadn't spoken about a lot of it to anybody. The thing that I think is so amazing, and I wanted to write it, and the reason it's in there, is that my parents made a quantum leap from their beginnings. I mean, quantum leap. My grandmother was a lady called a tweenie, who is the lady that gets up, and she was only 11 years old. She got up to make the fires at 4 o'clock for the servants to be able to function so that they could do their chores around the house for the people that lived upstairs. And they made a quantum leap from their beginnings, and then I made a second quantum leap, and it's such a miracle to me that these kind of wonderful things can happen.
It is. It's an absolute miracle, and it just gives you so much more understanding of your place in the world. It's humbling. It makes you attached.
Yeah.
I think it's so important for every family to do that, to connect and spend time sharing their stories together.
It sure gives you an appreciation of how lucky you are.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
It certainly does. It's very humbling. I absolutely love love her. Audrey Hepburn was such a beautiful woman inside.
She was.
And can you describe what's going on in this picture here?
This was the Academy Awards, and My Fair Lady had been nominated as a movie, and I had been nominated for Mary Poppins, and I was lucky enough to win for my first Academy Award for Mary Poppins. And it was the first film I'd ever made. It was a great evening, and this gracious, lovely lady, who later became a great friend of mine, and who played my role, Eliza Doolittle, in the movie of My Fair Lady.
Isn't that great?
And she once said to me, she said, Julie, you should have done the role, but I didn't have the guts to turn it down. And she was a great friend of mine.
She's a beautiful woman inside now, as are you. Thank you so much for joining us today. What can I say? She gives me goosebumps. And it's a fabulous, fabulous book, guys. Go grab yourself a copy. Grab a snack or a cup of tea. We'll be right back. Cheers.
Cheers, my love. Thank you.